And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another movie review, and I finally, as a huge NASCAR fan, finally did something that every NASCAR fan should do, which is watch Days of Thunder. This movie came out 1991, so almost 34 years ago. That's a long time, and it's a very well critically acclaimed movie, especially among NASCAR movies, or at least racing movies in general, right up there with like Talladega Nights and even Cars to an extent. But I just had never gotten around to seeing it before, which is kind of sad. Seeing I'm a huge NASCAR fan, I feel like it's kind of like a you gotta watch the movies and whatnot. But never really got around to it. But I finally did, and I got a lot of thoughts on it. So let's jump right into it, shall we? First thing I should talk about is the NASCAR branding. Did they get the things correct? Did they make it feel like you're actually at a race? That kind of thing. And the answer for me is yes. I thought they did. Some of the stuff, though, does definitely show its age. There's a lot of Winston branding in the movie, which is to be expected. It was called the Winston Cup back then. But also, the thing that really did stand out even for that time was the Confederate flags. They were everywhere. I don't know why there were a lot of Confederate flags. I get that was a big thing that people showed at NASCAR races, but why emphasize the American flags when you could have just emphasized driver flags or like other things? There was plenty of other things you could have done, and you just showed those. That was really weird. And of course, with the cast, this is actually a pretty strong cast. I was actually surprised. Tom Cruise is gonna be Tom Cruise. We have to expect this. With Talladega Nights, that movie is definitely, a lot of people a lot of NASCAR fans feel that's just more of a satirical take on NASCAR as a sport, which it is. And that's all led, with Will Ferrell as the main character, you have to expect that it's going to be more of a comedy type movie. But with Tom Cruise, it's taking a little more, it helps epitomize it be taking NASCAR a little more seriously and kind of getting more of that action sense as well. And Tom Cruise does a really good job in this movie, as he's done for pretty much every Tom Cruise movie I've ever seen and probably will continue to see, because this dude is in his 60s and still acting like crazy. Also, John C. Reilly is in the movie, which I find very ironic because he would end up being in Talladega Nights. So it's kind of crazy like that he overlapped into both movies. I did not expect that at all. But that was a really, really cool touch. I definitely I guess they wouldn't have known, but it's ironic looking at it now. So it is pretty funny. Let's see. There are some inaccuracies though with the NASCAR stuff that they did get wrong, but Talladega Nights got this wrong too. And it all comes down to just their filming locations, what they were allowed to film with, and stuff like that. And they were trying to, go across being the entire season. But, when you say you're at Rockingham and you're very obviously at Daytona because you can see the Daytona logo on the wall, you kind of lose a lot of that. There were a few other instances of that happening over across the movie. I can excuse it. It's still fine. They do their best to make it look like they're at the actual track without making anything seem too specific. So it works out just fine, I think. I also thought something that I didn't like was the Darlington sequence when he's going to try and win his first race. They say that the caution comes out with 3 laps to go and everybody decides to pit. The race is over. And they even say it in the movie. The race is over. Why would I pit? Because it's true. In 1991, there wouldn't have been overtime. The race would have been over, and you would have just won the race under caution. Why the fuck are you pitting? I have to feel like, even back then, a lot of NASCAR fans are like, what the fuck was this sequence? That doesn't make any sense. Obviously, it makes a little more sense now with the overtime stuff and everything, but back in 1991, that didn't make any sense at all. That one really pissed me off. I did not like that. That was a dumb sequence. Cool action stuff, but really dumb otherwise. I thought the wheelchair in street races were pretty good too. It all kind of works into overall good character development in this movie, with, especially from, not really necessarily from Tom Cruise's character, but from a lot of the other side slash main characters. I think their character growth and character arc together, both in a bad way with the enemy archetypes, and then also turning into good guys, and everything in between, works really, really well too. They have Neil Bonnet in the movie. Rest in peace, Neil. They have a lot of the drivers in the movie too. I mean, they've got Richard Petty in the movie, even though this car is a wrong design, though that was probably on purpose. They got Rusty Wallace in the movie as well. So a few other drivers. Not Dale Earnhardt. I was surprised. His car is in the movie, but he himself is not in the movie, which is weird. And the last thing, this movie is, of course, like I said, it's 33 years old, going on 34 years old at the time of this video going up. That's a long time, and a lot of movies have come out since. And there's a lot of stuff in this movie, specific sequences, or maybe even lines, or stuff like that, that I feel like were taken and used in their own unique way, or made into a unique way, with other NASCAR movies. I looked at Cars and Talladega Nights as well. They use kind of the same stuff with kind of like the slingshot motion, or kind of like driving backwards, that kind of stuff. And a lot of other sequences too, where it all kind of just feels like, oh, they took this from this and then kind of mauled it in there. I think even Cars as well kind of works that in too, which is a really, really shows really, I mean, we look back on it, really the strong inspiration this movie had for a lot of other movies like it. Hell, I've seen moves like this that were inspired in Talladega Nights in future NASCAR races, like actual races. I know that's obviously not the plan. That wasn't the plan to mimic the movie, but it's really like, at that point, it really, really shows how accurate they got a lot of the stuff with the movie. So, and it shows really how much effort they really put into the film as well. So I really, really like that. And overall, this is a good movie. This is a really good movie. I can't say that it's definitively better than Talladega Nights. As a big fan of Talladega Nights, I cannot say but it's a different NASCAR movie than Talladega Nights. Talladega Nights, like I said, is a very comedy-esque movie. It takes a satirical look onto NASCAR as a sport, whereas this movie looks at it in a more serious light and does kind of breaks down a lot of the stuff with that. But they both really, really work, and this is a great movie. If you're a NASCAR fan, like so many of others have said, you have to 100% watch this movie. It's really, really good. I mean, we've seen paint schemes from this movie. It's just worked. Like, it's a huge cultural thing, so I would definitely recommend giving it a watch if you've got the chance to, because you will not be disappointed. For my final score for Days of Thunder, I'm gonna have to give it a good 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie, and like I said, go give it a watch if you're a NASCAR fan. So that's going to do it for this video, though. Stay tuned for other much more amazing content, including more movie reviews and other awesome stuff. And if you've seen Days of Thunder before, I'd love to know your thoughts about it as well in the comment section down below. And what other NASCAR movies should I try and see? I knew about Cars, Talladega Nights, Days of Thunder. What are the other ones? I know there's probably others that I'm not thinking of, so let me know. But until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.